I've come again because all temples in Thailand, as I repeatedly say, are a work in progress, and this temple is no exception. There's been amazing work carried out here in the last year, 2 years, in constructing this huge seated version of a statue of Long Por Tuad. Now, Long Por Tuad is one of the other revered monks here in Thailand, especially in Northern Thailand, and he's depicted here sitting, here standing, and he's quite identifiable by his large ears and the way he sits forward like that, and he's got a familiar big head and face. In many statues that we see in temples around Thailand, you'll see this quite distinctive feature of this statue is the head being so large. I've been here previously, made a right dog's dinner of explaining things. Hopefully I do it slightly differently this time, and I'm going to take you up these steps here. It's quite a little nice walk up through these steps and seeing the ponds in between. Sometimes there's fish in them. I wonder whether there's fish here today. Can't see any right now. Are there any fish in here? No. Ah yes, there's fish over here, and this is in the foundation of this ramped stairway up to the top, going up to the standing image of Long Por Tuad. There's quite a few fish in here, and by the look of it there's the leftovers of the ceremony that's happened perhaps yesterday from the condition of the food that I can see left out on the tables. I have fruit out at the front there, so there's been a ceremony for something going on here this last day or so. Well, today is Friday, Friday the 4th of March, and for those that don't follow me on Facebook, you will not have heard that I've reached the ripe old age of clickety-click 66, and yeah, my birthday yesterday. Had a fantastic day. Nice places with Bidai and a dear friend Kumi. Thank you for making my day so special. Today I've come out early in the morning. It's just gone 8 o'clock and the sun's coming up over the mountains behind Mae Takrai National Park. There's a lovely walk over there in a video that I'll leave a link above. It was one of my earlier videos showing me learning to speak to camera on YouTube videos. It was, looking back at it is quite painful for me, but it was interesting, the journey I was on in learning how to present to camera and how to talk to camera in a comfortable way without feeling all this knotting up in the stomach as to what to say, how to say. And I talked to some buffalo. I guess that was a way of relieving the stress at the time. Anyway, the nice walk through the forest area over there at Mae Takrai National Park is thoroughly recommended. It's a very nice walk around a huge reservoir there. Well, since I was here last, they've done a lot of work of construction, putting the tiles down on the floor and doing more brickwork. And here we see some very industrious birds. Very industrious birds. For anybody not living in Thailand, or anybody that has not been outside the city when they come to Thailand, will hopefully appreciate what you're missing. If you come to Thailand and come into the countryside and just listen to the dawn chorus and the villages waking up, the sounds coming from the farms, the chicken and the cattle. I think they might be martins of some sort. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Beautiful bird. Lovely. Anyway, hopefully you'll appreciate the sounds and the views that you see here out in the country being very different from city life. And for many people like myself who have chosen to retire in Thailand, retiring outside the city brings about a certain relaxation in your life, a good feeling, a warm feeling that things are better, things are easier outside of that busyness of a city life. My life has certainly extended since I've been here, and I'm very grateful to be consuming all of this wonderful culture and wonderful countryside that I live in. Absolutely beautiful. I love it here. Over there on the way down, I came over the top of this mountain from Sankampeng to join the 1230 road that goes on down towards Lampun that way. On the way over, there were fires in the mountain pass there, and that's adding to the hazy smoke that we can see on the tops of these mountains here. Well, I've just been searching on the internet about these birds. You see, I'm familiar with house martins, and they sound like house martins, and they look like house martins, but they're building with stuff that isn't like house martins build. So I'm a bit confused, I'm a bit perplexed, I'm a bit interested, because swifts typically build their nests in holes, or in a tree, in a cluster in a tree, but these are building in the corners of these rafters, and they're using straw. They're not using the pellets, mud, to make a little cone to sit in. It's quite interesting. So swifts don't have a tail like this. Because it's very, very intriguing. I'm looking for another nest in case there's a type of nest. That's a house martin nest, and that's a house martin nest, so I'm okay. Okay, so that's typical house martin nest up there. Yes, I can see that. Yeah, so you've got this this little cradle made of mud, made of stuff of mud. But what's happening here is that they're adding feathers and all sorts of stuff in there as well as the mud. Well, okay, I'm glad I got that sorted out. I'd have been unhappy all day and wondering what on earth I've seen here. These are house martins in Thailand. It's that little flat tail on a black bird with a little white rump that's given it away, but the nest confused me a bit. So very interesting. Anyway, I'm going to go down and show you a little bit more down the back here. This temple has an extensive temple building area on the other side, and as you will have seen from the overhead, there's so much corrugated stuff over the top of it, and yeah, it's quite stylish. So you know, you can't see it from the air, but you can go inside and have a look. Well, this is very interesting. This is in actual fact a crossover to Hindu here, because what I'm seeing here are the statues of Krishna and his soulmate. I'm blessed. An amazing collection of monk statues. Wow. And what we have here is an Ubosot, because as you'll remember in the video I talked about Ubosots down in Ban Hong, the 9 stones of an Ubosot. And I wonder, Pokjai. And isn't this a wonderful building? Look at that. For anybody that's not familiar with what I'm rattling on about here, an Ubosot is a revered building within a temple. This is the place where monks are ordained. This is the meaning of this is that when humans go through the stage of being nak, the eel, the long dragony eel, dressed in white, and then they come out the other side as a monk. And all men do this here in Thailand, go through this process of going from man through to being a monk. And again, reference to Hindu belief here in Mae Takrai temple. We have Lord Ganesh, Shiva, and other deities of the Hindu faith, all sat here next to Rama 5. And on the other end we have Gun Yin. This scene that we see here, found in the far rear corner of the temple area, represents scenes that we can see at many temples here in Thailand. It's meant to represent the evil side of people, the bad nature of people, the hell, the worst that can happen to people. Some of the examples, and you can obviously imagine them dancing to music with the PA system behind, and other scenes of human torture, human abuse. I mean, some of it is really quite realistic, very gory, and you can see the knives and the crushing and the sawing and the extracting and the grinding and all the other things that go with inflicting pain on a human body. In other places you'll see similar type sadistic characterizations of what humans do to humans. But I've never been too sure why these Long people are here. The Long guy on the left with two mouths on his hips with long tongues coming out, he's around about 40 feet high. This part really hasn't changed much, and you can see in a previous video that I did, and I featured this, I think, as my thumbnail. This area hasn't changed very much about the temple. It's still the same as it was 10, 15 years ago. It hasn't changed at all, except that people still hurt one another. People are bad to other people, and life is hard on people in relationships, and there's not the mention of love around here. This is a place where there is no love, and that's why I have a difficulty with seeing the spirit houses here, because you are coming here to respect somebody who you did love. Bit of a dilemma, that one.